Welcome back guys, this is Vishu from SavageCamp, and in this video we are going to look at the class method. So in the last video we saw how to do a static method. It's basically a method that is not dependent on the class. It has its own arguments, so it can be declared with addStatic method, and you don't need an object to call it, because to create an object you need a constructor, and for a static method it does not use any of these values. So it can stand by itself, and that is a static method. Second part of the decorator is a class method. And this class method can be confusing for a lot of people, because the underlying idea about this is to create a method that calls the class again. And you can use this to format the constructor that you have in the class. Like if you want to handle different types of inputs, you don't have to pass through them to create it in a format to send it to the class. You have a class method which will do that for you. So if I try to run this, it will run properly and give me my name, age, and city. It's pretty simple. I'm going to create an object and pass in this thing. And if I want, I can pass in the object.person print info, and it is going to do the same thing. But what happens if instead of this I get a dictionary like this? What do I do when I have a dictionary? Well, at that time I can write a class method that is going to help me format this data. So format data, and it is going to take, so if you noticed, it took the class by itself. CLS means the person info class. So inside the class, we are writing a function that is calling the class again. That's why it is kind of confusing, but you will understand what we are trying to do. So if I do data dict, and I can say for each person in data dict, print each person. So at this moment, we are not going to do anything with the class. I'm just taking the data dictionary and printing it out. So if I print this, nothing is coming because we did not call the class. So let's call it person info dot format data. And again, you don't need an object for calling this. You can just call this with the class method. And if I run this, you will see the dictionary that we passed in. Again, we are not doing anything with the class until now. This is simply the dictionary that we passed in and we printed it out. So the question now is, how do we create this dictionary in this format? So you see we have the name, age, and city as the keys of the dictionary. So we are going to call that. So instead of print, I'm going to call in the class. So if I do CLS, which is the class, and I am going to pass in the values. So I will say each person of name, I'm going to say each person of age, and each person's city. So what I actually did is, instead of printing out the dictionary like this, I'm calling in the class. CLS is going to class, and in the class I have to pass in the name, age, and city. So I'm passing in the name, age, and city. So that is what is happening over here. This class method is acting as a constructor for this class, sitting inside this class. So this class is calling the class method and passing in the name, age, and city from the dictionary in a different format that we put as an input, and then printing it out. So if I run this now, it is going to give me 3 outputs which are pretty similar to what we got earlier. So that is the whole point of a class method. What it does is act as a constructor. It is calling the class again, and you don't need an object to call that method. You can just call it directly, and you can pass in any kind of inputs that you want and format it in any way you want. So I think that is it for this video, guys. If you want, you can create a list and also do it in a list format, So I can copy this, do a format data to, that would take a data list, and for each person in data list you can do each person of 0, each person of 1. This is not planned, guys. I'm just doing it for you guys to show you the various ways we can use this. But and we can put a list like this and call this again with format data to and pass in the data list. So this is going to do the same thing, and in this way you have 3 ways to take the input. The first one is the normal way, to pass in age, city and the name. Then you have a class method that takes in the data dictionaries and goes through them and gives it to the class. And you have one more class method that is going to take the data list and give it back to the class. So that is the whole point of using this class method, and I hope you guys understood this. If you have any questions, please comment below. I am willing to make one more video because these are like kind of advanced concepts and it can get some time to understand this. So let me know if you guys have any questions, and I will see you guys in the next video.